tell your listeners, if they just ask themselves these 6 questions every day, they're going to have a better life.
I mean, that is gold.
And what's the definition of legacy?
What would you say are the 3 essential things that founders should keep in mind when experiencing failure? If that's not inspiring, I don't know what is.
Do a Google search, helping successful leaders in quotes. The first 500 references, 450 are me, and the entire rest of the world is 50. My brand, I want. The world doesn't bow down and pat you on the head because you're wonderful. That's not the way it works. My name is Marshall. I am too cowardly and undisciplined to do any of this stuff by myself. I need help.
It's literally hitting me in the heart.
I will now share the key to great coaching.
Today's episode is with a 1 in a million kind of person. He's a world-renowned author with over 40 books, 3 of which are New York Times and Wall Street Journal bestsellers. International motivational speaker, the #1 executive coach of the world's top CEOs, and for 4 decades, he has dedicated his life helping people, teams, and organizations achieve positive behavioral change, me being one of them. With titles such as What Got You Here Won't Get You There and Triggers, just a couple to mention, he truly transformed my mindset along with millions of others. It's an honor and pleasure to introduce such an inspiring pioneer and a distinguished gentleman. Dr. Goldsmith, welcome to the Failures and Beyond podcast.
Well, thank you. Call me Marshall.
Okay, Marshall it'll have to be because you're giving me goosebumps. Like seriously, my entire body is just beyond excited to have you on the podcast. And it's truly an honor. What I just said is really coming from the heart because you did change my life just by reading your principles, and what you teach has completely transformed my mindset. So I'm excited you're here. I hope and pray that I don't let my excitement get out of control, because for me, it's about sharing what you've learned, your insights with a wider audience.
Very nice.
So let's get on with it. I'm gonna just get into it with a quick fire round.
Sure.
Okay, so simple questions to get you to open up in a different way. All right. So what's your personal mantra or quote?
There's no business like show business.
Love that. Amazing. Okay. What's your favorite word?
Love.
Oh, that's beautiful. Oh. What's the best advice you've been given?
The best advice I've ever been given is enjoy what you're doing. Don't judge other people. Have fun, do your best, and make peace.
Oh, love that. My goodness. I hope I'm not going to cry during this podcast because you've already made it like reaching into my heart here. So what are the 3 best words to describe you?
Helping people improve.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful. How would you like to be remembered?
I'd like to be remembered as someone that helped you have just a little better life.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Well, I can safely say you have. Me and so many other people. And lastly, what's the most impactful behavioral change that you've ever made for yourself?
Realizing that in my job, it's not about me, it's about them.
Okay, this is going to be a powerful podcast, just purely, I think, for myself to realize you are everything that you encompass in your book. You are just a living embodiment of everything that I've read. And it's just purely a blessing to have you here. So thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Right. I know we're a little bit short on time and I want to try and get as much out of it from you as possible.
Very good.
You're a very busy man and I know we've only got you for a little while. So let's get on with it. Let's start at the beginning. I'm fascinated by what inspires people and what made you choose your path. Is it by accident? Was it a planned process? I would like to know what inspired you to become an executive coach and ultimately creating MGBot.
Well, there was no path when I was brought up that I knew existed like this. You have to realize I was brought up very poor. The first 4 years in school, we didn't have indoor plumbing. It was called an outhouse. The high school was ranked next to last place in Kentucky in academic achievement. That's ranked next to last place in the United States. So I don't think it was aware of writing New York Times bestselling books. Wasn't exactly on the time horizon for me. Yeah. Very series of very fortunate breaks. I met a very famous man named Dr. Paul Hersey. he and Ken Blanchard invented something called situational leadership, and he got double booked. I did a smart thing. I followed him around, tried to learn what he did. He got double booked. He said, can you do what I do? I said, I don't know. He said, I'll pay $1,000 for one day. I need help. I was making $15,000 a year. I was 28 years old. That was 47 years ago. $1,000 a day to a poor kid, that's a lot of money. I said, I'll try it. I do a program for the Metropolitan Life Insurance Company in New York. They are so angry when I show up because I'm not him. But I got ranked first place of all the speakers. I'm funny, having a good time. They loved me. The others were boring finance people. They said, bring him back, bring him back, bring him back. We love this kid. He called me up and said, do you want this again? I said, are you kidding me? I'm making $15,000 a year. You're paying me $1,000 a day. Yes, sir. That's how I got into leadership development. And I mean, I did a good job when he opened the door. He opened the door. If he hadn't opened the door, I would have never had the chance.
But ultimately, he opened the door and you took that step.
Right.
So you didn't have that fear of, what if I completely bomb? What if this is a complete disaster? How did you did you have that thought, or was it just let me go out there and enjoy?
Actually, I was saved by two things. One, I was bald, so I looked a lot older than I was. So I was saved by baldness. And two, I was stupid. I had no idea how powerful these people were. Had I actually known they were running multi-billions of dollars, I probably wouldn't have been intimidated. But I was saved by two important things: baldness and stupidity.
I'm not sure those things would save you, but in some way they worked magic for you. So that's incredible.
It all worked out for me. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so what then inspired you throughout all of these years to build that knowledge, that wisdom, to what some would say that's your legacy, that's your IP? You're now giving it away for free with aibot. Yes. What inspired you to do that?
Well, I've always wanted to give everything away I know for free. All these great people that helped me, they never charged me money. Peter Drucker never charged me money. Paul Hersey didn't. Ken Blanchard never charged me any money. They gave me all they knew for free. This is pay it forward. They help me, and then I hopefully help somebody else, and they can help another person. I've always wanted this, but I've never been able to. For years, I tried to do this. I used all kinds of technology ideas, interactive video, this and that. Total failure until now. Now I can do this thing. It is mind-blowing today how good this stuff is. And it just wasn't technologically feasible until now. And I want to give everything away to as many people as I can in the time I have left to do it and beyond.
Beautiful. If that's not inspiring, I don't know what is. Paying it forward, I think, is something that a lot of people would wish they can do. Yeah. But once you come to that point in your life and you're actually doing it, how does it feel now that you've reached that point where you're like, I just want to pay it forward. Everyone has paid me forward and I want to just continue that.
Well, yeah, it's very positive. I mean, I don't have to work. And I'm not that money oriented. I'm not going to get another house or car or wife or kids or any of that stuff. It's all, So there's no material thing that's going to make me any happier anyway. So this is a good opportunity for me to give away everything I know to as many people as I can. And the time I'm here and then beyond, hopefully that. What's the definition of legacy? Definition of legacy is being there when you're not there. Mm-hmm. Well, this is the best I can do to be there when I'm not there.
It's quite an impressive thing you're doing. I mean, I'm interested to know more about it. I think we're going to cover it after we've had the conversation. So I've had a little bit of a play with aibot online on your website, but it's different, I think, to experience it fully with you. And that's very exciting. So I'm going to keep that for later. Moving on, within the coaching sector, let's say, let's say, for example, with the growing movement towards self-development, coaching has been on the rise, especially here in Dubai. And it's created somewhat of a saturated market for the sector. There's a lot of coaches out here who are struggling. And I think it would help them to know how you overcame one of your hardest challenges. If you can talk about what that was as a successful coach that you are, and how did you overcome the hardest challenge throughout your career?
Well, there are too many coaches right now. There's too many coaches relative to the amount of work there is to do. The average coach makes no money to speak of. So most people are not like me. So I live a very different life. My advice to all the coaches is very simple. Build your brand. And it's hard work. I mean, the reason I'm here is I have a brand. Yeah. My mission, and by the way, I have a clear and simple mission. My mission is I help successful leaders achieve positive long-term change in behavior. Do a Google search, helping successful leaders in quotes. The first 500 references, 450 are me, and the entire rest of the world is 50. My brand, I won.
Yeah.
Well, that's not an accident. I worked very hard to build this brand. I worked very hard to write, worked very hard for marketing. And a lot of coaches are not good at that. Now, I'm going to give some advice to all the coaches who are listening. Are you ready, you coaches? Most coaches really focus on what I call half of credibility. In my new book, The Earned Life, I have a chapter that says credibility must be earned twice. Part of credibility is doing great work. The other part of credibility is being recognized for doing great work. They are not the same thing. And most coaches really work hard to do great work, but they don't work hard at marketing, at business. They don't understand about building a brand, building their reputation. It's equally important. For example, writing. How many titles on Amazon this year? 44 million. How many do you have to sell to be in the top half of all books sold in 1 year? 2. Half of them sold 0 to 1. Doesn't mean they're bad books. I'm not that arrogant to believe my books are better than 22 million other books. Some of those books have to be fantastic. Nobody bought them. Yeah. So for the coaches, my advice, build a brand. Figure out what you want to be. Be somebody specific. Don't just say, I'd like to help people. Too general. Build a very clear and specific brand. Peter Drucker said, your mission should fit on a t-shirt. Clear, simple brand. Write, think, and become an expert at that.
So it's more about really focus on your niche and be specific. Don't be a generalist, be a specialist.
Yeah, if you look at the Thinkers 50, for example, which I've been in for years. Now I'm in the Hall of Fame. Before that, though, I was #1 leadership thinker twice. Well, everybody who wins those awards is a specialist. Nobody's a generalist. They're all specialists at something. Well, you can't be the world's authority at everything.
Correct.
I am great at helping very successful leaders achieve positive change in behavior. That's it. I don't pretend to know everything about everything.
So this is very interesting because I think a lot of coaches who are not making money from this, it's more of a side business or a side hustle rather than their actual main core business.
Right.
Because they try to fit so many different aspects of what they do. So a life coach, let's say, or a business coach.
Right.
Whereas you are specifically saying, have that clear, defined mission statement.
Right.
And then go with that. Build a brand with that in mind.
And be an expert at that.
Be an expert in that.
Build credibility around that. Write about that. It's hard work.
Yeah.
By the way, nobody pats you on the head for doing all this work. It is hard work. Learn how to speak. The first speech I gave was a big speech for a group called Linkage, and big famous people, Warren Bennis, other people. How much did I get paid to give that speech? Answer, minus $17,000. I paid them $17,000 so I could speak.
Wow.
I wanted to be on the same stage with those other big people.
And it paid off.
It was a good investment.
Yeah. And I think with your concept of invest in yourself, always have that continuous learning concept.
Right.
You will have to pay to take advantage of the situation. When the door is open, take that leap.
That's it.
But I think a lot of people will probably be waiting to get the opportunity rather than be proactive going towards that.
See, that doesn't work. Now, let me give some coaching for the coaches who may be listening. Coaching for the coach. I've worked with lots of coaches. They're typically bad at promoting themselves. Yeah. So Peter Drucker said, we're here on earth to make a positive difference, not to prove we're smart or right. And decision makers make decisions. If you have the power to make the decision, I need to influence you. You're the customer. I'm a salesperson. I gotta learn how to sell. Well, most coaches are not good at selling and marketing. So I asked coaches the following questions. Question 1, if you became more powerful and influential, would the world be worse off or better off? 95% say better off, which I agree with. I think they're mostly really good people, and the world would be better off. Question 2, does trying to become more powerful and influential make you feel, uncomfortable? No, uncomfortable. 88% yes.
Yeah.
Then I asked the hard question, what is more important to you? Making the world a better place or being comfortable? Well, if you'd rather be comfortable, don't sit back and complain. And by the way, they say, well, I don't feel I should do that. You ever heard the stupid phrase, my good work should speak for itself? That's the idiot phrase. Your good work doesn't speak for itself. God's not going to fly out of the sky and pat you on the head for your good work. If that were true, no company would have a marketing function.
Correct.
Your good work doesn't speak for itself. You are in charge of your own marketing function, and you don't want to do it. Don't sit back and complain because the world doesn't bow down and pat you on the head because you're wonderful. That's not the way it works. You've got to put in time. You got to put in effort. You got to pay the price. You pay the price, you get the results. Don't pay the price, don't get the results.
Love that. I mean, that is gold. Literally, if you are a coach and you've heard it from the world's #1 executive coach, be specific and do the work. Don't think that it's just going to come to you on a plate and you're going to walk off and make millions. You have to put in the work. So coming from you, I think that's pretty strong, because there's a lot of people who would give advice, but they haven't quite hit that mark yet, whereas you have, and you've gone beyond what many will consider milestones that they want to achieve. So you're leading the way.
I'm always working at building my own brand. People say, why are you doing that? You already have a brand. That's like asking somebody, why do you sell things? You have money. Why are you in diet? You're in shape. Why are you working out? Duh. That's why. Now, one other advice for the coaches. I will now share the key to great coaching. Are you ready?
I am ready. Let's go.
Here is the key to great coaching. For 45 years, I didn't get paid if my clients didn't get better. Better is not judged by me or them, it's judged by it around them. It's called stakeholder-centered coaching. It's all based on results. You get paid for results, you learn some humility. The client I coached spent the most amount of time with did not improve at all. I didn't get paid. The client I spent the least amount of time with improved more than anyone ever coached. 200 people got better, and I did get paid. Humbling lesson. I go talk to my client who improved the most. His name is Alan Mullally. Alan went over to Ford, where he was the CEO. The stock goes from 101 to 1840, 1,837% stock increase, CEO of the year in the United States, 97% approval rating as a CEO from every employee in a union company. This is unheard of, right? Amazing man. So I go talk to Alan. Now, Alan and I are writing a book together. We've known each other 25 years. I say, Alan, of all the people I coached, you improved the most. I spent the least amount of time coaching you, and you were great to start with. I said, Alan, I made a chart. On one dimension, it was called time spent with me. The other dimension was called improvement. There was a negative relationship between spending time with me and getting better. Now I said, Alan, the way this chart looks, had you never met me, you would really be good. So I asked Alan, what should I learn about coaching from you? Now, he taught me 2 lessons that changed my life. Everyone listening, you coaches, listen to these lessons. He said, number 1 lesson, your biggest challenge as a coach is called customer selection. If you work with smart, dedicated, hardworking, great people, you win. You work with the wrong people, you lose. And then he said, number 2, don't make coaching about yourself and your own ego and how smart you think you are. Make it about the great people you work with and how proud you are of them. Most coaches don't understand this. They think they are the key variable. The key variable is not you, it's those other great people.
Correct.
As you mentioned, I got ranked #1 coach in the world for years. Nobody knows I'm a good coach. Nobody knows I'm not saying I'm the best coach in the world. How do I know? There could be thousands of great coaches. I don't know that. Why do I always get ranked #1 coach? I don't know that I'm a #1 coach. I can guarantee you one thing. I get the best clients in the world. You coach the people I coach, 5 CEOs of the year in the United States, you're going to look like a good coach.
I mean, that is, yes, I understand what you're saying, but I think the humility in which your message is coming through, it is a misconception that most coaches have, because they feel like they're helping people, but ultimately they're a vessel. So they're
That's
there
right.
to help people understand how they can improve, understand what their, let's say, part in the game is, in terms of take acknowledgement and accept that you, not blame, but take acknowledge, like accept what your part in the system.
Oh, it's their life. It's not your life.
Correct.
It is not your life, coach. It's their life.
Correct.
Now, one thing I'm going to help you, if they don't care, take a deep breath and let it go. I'm often asked, how do I motivate people who don't care? And the answer is, I don't. I have 0 effort to motivate people that don't care. I've learned a very hard lesson. My name is Marshall Goldsmith, not Jesus Christ. I'm not in the savior business here.
Yeah.
If they don't, it's their life. If they don't care, I don't care. Just don't waste my time. Don't waste your time with people that don't care. Put your time in with people that do care.
I think that's a really interesting message, and I know from myself, I've been building a business and I have a marketing agency. The concept of, at the very beginning, you need to take whatever business comes
Of course.
to you.
Yeah.
But I also learned my biggest lessons in that customer selection, like you said, is super important. Even at the very beginning, I think if we do give ourselves that power to say no to the wrong client, we will
Right.
save ourselves so much unnecessary wasted time, energy, and focus. Whereas we could be putting it towards someone who will actually accelerate our growth and put us where we want to be, rather than focusing our energy on helping a business that's never actually probably going to make it, because the owner doesn't even care as much. They're going to haggle on the price. They're going to constantly keep blaming you for things not going right. And they're going to take steps backwards instead of actually progressing forwards. They're the worst client you can possibly have.
That's right.
You're spot on. And I think if I just had this wisdom early on, I probably would have actually chosen my early clients very differently. And that would have given me a big jump forward. So
Okay, now are you ready for coaching for you?
let's go.
Smile, breathe.
Yes.
Do your hand like hand. You are now going to forgive yourself for all real or imagined sins in the past you have ever committed.
Yes. Yes.
Forgive. We're all just humans. We all screwed up.
Yeah.
It's
So
okay.
true.
Let it go.
I always say these podcasts are healing, and this is like just that in process, because just by pure conversation, I'm learning from your experiences, and I'm sharing and releasing certain pent up resentment or regret that I have. And I think that was one of them. You hit the nail on the head. Just release.
Let it
and that's
go.
one of your concepts. Let it go.
Let it
but
go.
that's so difficult sometimes. Honestly, it's for just hold on to
Breathing.
that. Yes.
More coaching for you. Breathing. I want you to repeat after me. That used to be difficult for me.
That used to be difficult for me.
I do not have an incurable genetic defect.
I do not have incurable genetic
Therefore,
defect.
it does not have to continue being difficult for me in the future.
Therefore, it does not have to continue to be difficult for me. That is spot on. Oh my goodness.
See,
Oh wow.
as long as we say that's just the way I am,
yeah,
it's
you
not gonna change.
attach yourself to that.
don't
belief.
talk yourself into that.
Correct.
Used to be that way.
I feel like I'm getting a really good therapy session here. Thank you
Oh, you
so
are.
much. Honestly, just not by the pure reading of your principles, but you live and breathe it.
Thank you.
It's truly just inspirational to me. So thank you for this. Oh, I have to remember we're doing actually a podcast, so I've got to keep track on what we're asking questions wise. But I really want to focus more on your core concept, which is behaviors.
Yes.
And I've noticed that in business, especially with founders, they tend to hold on to the failures because we can be our own worst critic.
That's right.
And
you say, and I used to be my own worst
And
critic.
I used to, it's true, I used to be, maybe until 5 minutes ago. But we very rarely remember to celebrate the wins
Right.
and remember what we've achieved until we come to writing a bio or something of that nature. So I'm interested to know, what's been your biggest win, your proudest moment professionally?
My proudest moment professionally is very simple. If I help you have a little better life, that is my proudest moment.
That's beautiful. That's
A
so
real human being has a little better life. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. When I coach people, you know what I say? I was going to help you have a little better life. And then I always ask a question. Is that okay? Is that all right? How many people have said no?
0, I'm sure.
That's all that matters. I'm not going to cure cancer. I'm not going to save the world here. If somebody listening to us or you has a little better life based on this podcast, hey, I won. That is my proudest moment.
It's beautiful. I think the humility and the compassion that is just coming out of you, like that's your aura, that is very strong. It's very powerful. I think your intention speaks volumes and enters the room before you do. And that's what jumps through every book that I've read, every time I've seen you share your message. It's so clear. And even now, you're just saying it, it's literally hitting me in the heart because it resonates. It's true. Oh, my goodness. Okay. The next one is regret. So I know it features quite importantly and centrally in your book, Triggers, which I'm currently reading now. And I wanted to know, what would you say are the 3 essential things that founders should keep in mind when experiencing failure to surpass that regret that they bear?
The first thing is, I'm going to give some advice from the Bhagavad Gita. Very simple advice. Never believe that achievement of results will make you happy or you will find peace. That is not true. Happiness and achievement are independent variables. Achieve to achieve, be happy to be happy. They're not the same thing. The message of the Gita is very clear. Never become ego attached to results, whether they be success or failure. Never become ego attached to results. One of my good coaching clients that endorsed my last book, Albert Bourla, the CEO of Pfizer. I called him up about 3 years ago. I said, Albert, how's it going? Oh, good. Came up with this vaccine. I said, well, that's great, Albert. It maybe saved my life. I took that. Thank you very much. And stock price all-time high, and company and pride and engagement, everything through the roof. I said, Albert, what's your problem? He said, I have a huge problem. Next year. If Albert's definition of success is he has to do better than last year, he'll never do better than that year. Michael Phelps won 25 gold medals, more achievement than any Olympian. What do you think about doing after winning number 25? Kill himself. To all those founders, you really believe that achieving something is going to make you happy? It won't. There's just next year.
That's very powerful.
You don't put your soul on that stuff. You win, you lose, you lose. You're not going to find peace and happiness through results. You find peace and happiness by finding peace and happiness. Get results to get results. One of the people in our group that is named Safi Bakal, I had the privilege of spending 600 hours with my friend Mark Thompson with 60 amazingly successful people over COVID, and their names are not a secret. They're in my book. They included pro basketball star, pro football star, Broadway star, head of the Olympic Commission, blah, 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 just on and on, these amazing people. You spend time with those people, you know what you'll learn? If achievement would make you happy, all they do every weekend was dance up and down with joy. No, they're just humans like everybody else.
Yeah.
They're just humans. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. And by the way, it doesn't matter how much you achieve. Let's say your listeners, they have this fantasy, once I achieve something. How happy are they going to be? A week? A month? Probably not even a month.
Yeah, you're right.
Next year, the Buddhist term for this is called the hungry ghost. You're always eating, but you're never full. You're never going to achieve enough to be happy. How about money? There's not enough money that's going to make you happy.
Yeah.
You can't buy happiness. You can't achieve your way to happiness. Now, to have a great life, you need to have three things. One, you need some higher purpose. Why am I doing this? Two, you need to have achievement that is consistent with that purpose, that I'm achieving things that are related to something. And three, you have to enjoy the process of life itself. If you don't enjoy the process of life itself, who cares how much you achieve? Okay, you got rich in a miserable life. Well, what's the second prize here? Very important. You need to have all three of those. And they're all not the same thing. Now, do you know Indian Institute of Technology, IIT? Mm-hmm. We'll put it in context. I got a PhD from UCLA. They had 175,000 applicants last year. IIT is about 10 times as hard to get in as UCLA. It's almost impossible. In India, it is like a dream. One of my friends is a donor. He asked me to give a speech. I think these techie kids, and I want some old man talk about life. The place was full. I'm thinking, well, they're going to think this is nonsense. I started talking about life and meaning and why are you doing this and what's important. 10 kids break down and start crying.
Wow.
Their whole life had been, and they had been given a dream. If you ever get into IIT, you've got it made. They got in. What happened to the level of competition? Did it go down or up?
Yeah.
It got worse, not better. They never had a life. Their whole life was nothing but work since 2 years old. You don't get in there by waiting until you're 15 to start trying. Oh no, mommy and daddy started pushing these kids when they were 2. It's okay to achieve. It's not going to make you happy though. And you don't find peace through that. You don't find peace. Now, there's some great marshmallow study I'll talk about. You know, the marshmallow study is very interesting. They take a kid and you give him a marshmallow. I say to the kid, if you eat one, you get one. But if you wait, 2. Now, allegedly, they've done this research that shows, well, the kids that wait, end up being more successful, and the kids that eat one are more losers. The one thing they did not do in the study, see, they didn't take the kid that had 2 and say, let's wait some more. 3. Wait some more. 4. 5, 10, 100, 1,000. And where does the story end? An old man waiting to die, sitting in a room surrounded by thousands of uneaten marshmallows.
That's very powerful because, on so many levels, my mind is just going into like overdrive with just realizing the happiness and the peace that we're all striving and success and all of these wonderful things we want to achieve. Yes, we think that once we get it, we'll reach the happiness and this, but it's ultimately, you're just striving to get somewhere. And once you get there, and I'm sure a lot of people have experienced this, that you have a goal, you set it, and you just go towards that. Once you reach there, you think, oh, what next?
Of course.
And what am I going to do? And what's left for me to do? And then you go into this soul-searching understanding of what am I doing all this for?
Right.
Whereas if you follow what you just said in terms of set your higher purpose from the start,
right,
then you will always have that goal, which will continue to evolve and grow as you reach these milestones. It's very powerful.
And enjoy the process of life.
Yes, enjoy the process.
Now, my new research has indicated, I maybe shouldn't tell you this, it's in the next book, but I've done some fascinating new research. You know what I've learned? We're all going to be equally dead here. And I have some documented evidence to promote this. We're all going to be equally dead. So I think we need to enjoy the process of life itself.
Yeah. And we very rarely do because we're so busy creating that life that we think is going to make us happy and rich and successful. And living here in Dubai, I think those aspirations are fuel for people to keep going. But if we are not aligned, I think, to that end goal that is something greater than us, what are we doing this for? And that's what I keep saying.
And also, if you don't enjoy the process of life itself.
It's miserable. How are you going to find that happiness when ultimately it's within yourself? Yeah.
Okay, are you ready for more coaching for
you? Oh my
you?
God, yes. Let's go.
Breathing.
Yeah.
Don't be too hard on yourself.
True.
Don't be too hard on yourself. Life is short.
Yeah.
Forgive yourself for being human. Yeah. You're just a human. We say, when I get there, there's this there thing. Once I get my act together, well, then I don't need coaching anymore, and I'm going to be in perfect shape, and blah, blah, blah. But once I get there, I'm going to help you. There is no there. Yeah. If there were a there, the people I coach, they would have been there a long time ago. They are the definition. If there's a there, they would have been there. There's no there.
Very powerful.
Look, they're humans. They got kids with drug problems. Parents have Alzheimer's. They get divorced. You think all that money and status solves all your problems? No. Some of them are very happy, some of them aren't. Happiness and achievement are independent variables. Be happy to be happy. Achieve to achieve. But don't assume that they're the same thing. They aren't.
Very powerful. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is just, I'm consuming all of this and putting it into my memory block because everything you're saying has been something that I've understood and I knew in the back of my mind, but I somehow forgot it along the process. And I think that's what your books do. It just reminds us of what we already know, but we haven't actually done the work to make it a reality. So it's just, once you remember what you already know, everything is like an aha. Literally every page I read that you've written, it's like, yes, this is so true, but when am I going to do it?
Well, I'll tell you what though. It's hard.
Yeah, it is.
I'm going to tell your listeners, if they just ask themselves these 6 questions every day, they're going to have a better life.
Correct.
It takes 3 minutes a day to do this. Half the people quit within 2 weeks. Why? It's hard to do.
Yeah.
By the way, people ask me, do I have a coach? I had someone call me on the phone almost every day to help me for 27 years. Why? My name is Marshall. I am too cowardly and undisciplined to do any of this stuff by myself. I need help.
Yeah.
And it's okay. Yeah. It's okay. I need help. Who am I kidding? You think I'm better than those people I coach? I'm not better than them. I need help. You need help. We all need help. Who are these godlike? How many of the top 10 tennis players have a coach? 10?
All of them.
What do they have a coach for?
Correct.
We all need help. 6 questions every day. And they all begin with the phrase, did I do my best to? Did I do my best to? And the reason that's important is it doesn't say you succeeded. Mm-hmm. Did you even try? Mm-hmm. Question 1, did I do my best every day to set clear goals? So every day, set goals.
Yeah.
We often forget to do that. Number 2, did I do my best every day to make progress toward the goals I set? We often get lost. We forget what the goals were. Number 3, did I do my best to find meaning in life? Rather than waiting for somebody to give me meaning, every day, do I do my best to create meaning? Now, number 4, we're going to spend some time on. Did I do my best to be happy? Every day, ask yourself, did I do my best to be happy today? 3 of the people I coach are all medical doctors, among the smartest people I ever met. Jim Kim, president of the World Bank. John Noseworthy, head of the Mayo Clinic. Raj Shah, head of the Rockefeller Foundation. All medical doctors. Ask them, on the average day, how would you score? And did I do my best to be happy? They all had the same answer. Never dawned on me to try to be happy. They're all medical doctors. I said, did they cover death in medical school? Did they bring that topic up? I said, yeah, they covered it. I said, you think this is silly? He said, no. They're important. I forgot to ask.
Yeah.
Okay, ready?
Yes.
For you. Average day. 1 is low, 10 is high. How would you score? And did I do my best to be happy?
Today, I think it's pretty much a 9.
Average day.
Okay, average day. I need to figure that out. I think it'd probably be like a 5 or a 6.
5 or 6.
I need to do better. I know.
Coaching for you. Are you ready?
Yes.
I hate to be so strict with you. Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Raise that score.
Yep.
Is that perfectly clear?
Clear.
You're going to wake up in the morning and say, one thing I'm going to do today, I am going to do my best to be happy.
Yeah.
Whatever happens today happens. I don't have total control over that.
Correct.
Those entrepreneurs, you win, you lose. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
Sure.
If you win, it's not going to make you that happy anyway. What are you going to do next year, next year?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like that hamster on a cage, right? It doesn't stop.
I know. You're right. You're totally right. And for me, everything you're saying is exactly what I need to hear. So I thank you for that. I'm going to start wrapping up now because I'm also conscious of time. So one of my last questions to you is, one of your principles is to let go of the past. And in the context of hindsight, I want to use the past to help us here.
Yes.
If you could go back in time, what would you have told yourself to do differently? And especially when you hit those roadblocks.
Well, it's a wonderful question. I'm often asked this question, if I went back in time, what advice would I have for the younger versions of me? And the answer is very simple. Absolutely nothing.
Of course you would
Zero.
say that.
You know why? Look, I was brought up going to a school with an outhouse. I ended up where I am. I like science fiction. Mm-hmm. If you change that timeline, guess what?
Things will change.
It can get worse, not better.
Yeah.
By the way, did I make mistakes? Thousands. If you get rid of the mistake, you get rid of everything you learned from the mistake.
Very true. Very powerful.
So what would I change? I know that answer. It would be zero. I'm happy. It all worked out here. I'm not complaining one bit.
Oh my goodness, I love that. I love that. And I think that goes, again, to prove that you walk your talk. It's very powerful. And to wrap up, I just want to get from you, please, your 3 top qualities that you would advise successful leaders to strengthen.
To get better, 3 things. 1, courage. Have the courage to get feedback, to learn about yourself, to look into the mirror on a regular basis, like those daily questions. It takes courage. Number 2, humility. You know what I've learned? I cannot help perfect people get better. If you believe you're perfect, you don't need me, you don't need a coach, you don't need anybody. And by the way, if you think you have nothing to improve, pick humility. We all got stuff to improve. And 3 is discipline. Back to earlier talk. Yeah. You got to do the day to day work to get better. That's why I have somebody call me up every day. Every day I start over. Some days I do well, some days I don't. It just takes a lot of discipline to keep at it day after day after day.
Lastly, what's next for Dr. Marshall with MGBot and all these exciting things that you've got coming up?
Well, I'm very excited about my new project, and it's available right now. Just go to marshallgoldsmith.ai. Now, this thing is mind-blowing. My original goal was for it to be able to answer about 80% of the questions you asked me about as well as I could. That is gone. It can answer 100% of the questions you asked me, not only as well as me, but better than me, and it could also answer 110 times as many questions. Let me give you an example. My daughter Kelly wants to trick this. She said, how is your coaching related to utilitarian philosophy? I don't even know what utilitarian philosophy is. This thing studies utilitarian philosophy. It realizes, how is this related? It studies my coaching. How is this related to his coaching? It knows me. I've put 1.5 million words into this thing. Mm-hmm. Oh, it knows me quite well. Mm-hmm. How would Marshall answer this question? It answers in a way that I prove in my voice in 5 seconds.
Wow.
This is mind-blowing. Now, a good question you asked me about the listeners is, I'm a founder. I need to do a better job of delegating and letting go. Please maybe give me some suggestions. As a founder, it's crucial to understand that effective delegation is key to not only your success, but also the success of your organization. Here are some detailed suggestions to help you delegate more effectively. 1. Identify key responsibilities. Start by listing out the key areas of responsibility within your company. Understand which tasks are critical and which can be delegated. 2. Assess your team. Evaluate the strengths, weaknesses, and interests of your team members. This will help you delegate tasks to the right people, ensuring they are both capable and motivated to take on the responsibilities. 3. One-on-one dialogues. Have individual conversations with your team members. Ask them about areas where they feel you could delegate more and where they might need more of your involvement. Now, this goes on and on.
Wow.
This will give you about 10 or 12 different suggestions. It's unbelievable.
That's incredible that you've literally plugged in all of your advice, insights, and just with a simple question, we can actually tap into that wisdom that comes from you, your guidance, your principles, your leadership.
I have to reinforce one point again. It's better than me. I'm a smart
person. Well, of course you would say that. You are the most, humble man I've ever met.
I'm not putting myself down here. I mean, I did get ranked #1 leadership thinker in the world twice. I'm far from stupid. Look, I don't know what utilitarian philosophy is.
Why?
This thing, I was just in Saudi Arabia. Somebody said, how's your coaching related to Islamic philosophy? Boom. Perfect answer. Now, this is a Saudi who's Islamic. He said, tell me more about how that insight concept is related and go into great detail. It gives an incredible answer in quotes from the Quran.
Wow.
No offense to me. I don't quite think I could do that.
That's incredible. It's like it's an enhanced version of you.
Way enhanced.
For everyone.
Way enhanced and for everyone. And this is the new world.
Yeah.
This is the new world. And I'm getting older. My memory's not getting better. This guy's memory is getting better. I don't know everything about Islamic philosophy. I don't quote specific things from the Quran. This guy can.
Yeah.
And it's okay. Look, this is human evolution. Now, I know the negative consequences that come from AI. I'm not naive. I know this can have a lot of problems. Here's my attitude. Do something good. This train has left the station. This is going to happen. We're not going to stop this. This is going to happen.
Yeah.
My goal is do something good.
And you are. This is incredible.
And by the way, I don't want to make myself sound too wonderful here. There's also a certain cool factor that goes with this. Let's face it. On the cool-o-meter scale, this is kind of off the charts for an old boy, right? So I love it. Some young person says to me, do you know anything about artificial intelligence? I say, well, no, I don't know too much. Let's ask my little friend. No, I don't know too much, but my AI computer bot perhaps.
What I've created right here can answer that question for you. Oh my goodness. Honestly, I would love this conversation to go on for another hour at least, but I thank you. Thank you for sharing your wisdom. Thank you for giving me your time. Thank you for sharing it for a wider audience. And it's been an honor. It's a true pleasure of mine to spend this time with you. And I'm going to get to work with that MG bot. And it's like as if I have you with me all the time. So thank you for sharing this to the world. It's a gift.
And it's all free and it's available now. Just go to, you don't need an app, marshallgoldsmith.ai. Marshall has 2 L's. Here it is.
Amazing. Simplified the whole process. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Guys, This has been eye-opening for me, mind-blowing in some way, and I'm going to enjoy watching this episode again. So if you think this is going to resonate with anybody out there who is suffering, going through any experiences such as regret or failure or fear of failure, just ask them to watch this. Ask them to research everything that is under Marshall Goldsmith, his books, his teachings, his principles, and it will open your mind and change your life. So thank you. Thank you for tuning in.